Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Megan Nilsson, aka Crypto Megan, and we've got another amazing episode for you right now. As Bitcoin just broke above $100,000 at the time of recording, around $101,100. It's very, very exciting. It's all broken bullish, seemingly in just a short amount of time. We've had a pretty big pump up, and everybody's wondering how high could Bitcoin go? What will we have to do to make this uptrend sustainable, and what levels will we be looking at in order to continue on through this bull run, and what will happen to altcoins in the meantime? I'm going to give you a short taste of what we're going to be going over today, which is $100 billion could be added to the altcoin market. So we'll be going over what could happen to our altcoins, our precious altcoins that we've all been waiting for when that injection does come in. And we've got the one and only Trip on the show today from the Capital Mindset to take us through all of this news, all of the charts, and just to help us navigate what's happening right now. It's very exciting indeed. Trip, welcome to the show.
Hey, Megan, thank you. How are you today?
Great. And all you Theta fans are going to be really excited because we will be going over a mega bullish Theta chart. So stay tuned for that at the end. But first off, man, it's been absolutely incredible in the Capital Mindset Trading Group, nailing so many of the setups. And by nailing, I mean getting in on the ground floor at the entry level and catching a lot of these moves. Isn't that right?
Yeah, we're starting to catch a lot of retests lately. So these could be retests of major support, or they're breaking above the 200 MA on the 4-hour chart or the daily chart, for example. And we've been trying to find the retest of those major moving averages as they pull back.
Absolutely. So, guys, before we get into this, we're having a big sale for the crypto making community. Now is the time to get in. If there ever were a time, you must invest in your education. I mean, we've got the best, absolute best analysts in-house with Trip and so many others just looking at the charts 24/7 and giving you the best setup so you don't have to filter through and helping you through it all. Also, leverage trading group. So we got 20% off for the crypto making community with code CryptoMegan20. The link is in the description. Do not hesitate. This is absolutely some of the best investments you can make, especially in these kind of market conditions where trading is going to get a lot easier. Let's pull up some of those winners now. I'm going to add these charts to the show, and Trip, take us through some of the winners that we've had just in these past couple of days.
Yeah, for sure. So this was the Super USDT 4-hour setup that we had. We had noticed in the group that there was a double bottom forming down here, and we were looking for a break of the resistance. At the time, the price was still moving up from this double bottom, hadn't quite confirmed the move yet. So again, the really important thing about trading is you want to wait for that confirmation. So even though you see this double bottom forming, after we hit this resistance here, it pulled back a little bit, and it needed one more attempt before it could actually break out. So we were able to catch this breakout here, and there was a retest entry on the first round. So we caught this move for up to about 77, 78 cents the first time. And then the second entry that we're looking for was this retest or this pullback to the support. So you could have a short-term retest, or you could have a bigger swing that still counts as a retest when it pulls back. So after this retest entry was hit, we caught the move here for about a 21% move on Super so far. It's about the same size move that we caught on the original breakout over here on this side. So 28% the first time. If you took profit there, then you got a chance to get in on the retest here for an additional 21.6% for Super. And then the other one that we had was for Pepe. So the same thing we were just talking about before with the 200 MA. This is the 200 MA on the 4-hour chart, and we were looking for this retest entry here on this the 4-hour 200 MA. So then on to the next page, this is the reaction that we got. So far, it's about a 37% move since that retest entry. So Pepe's been doing really well. It was one of the fastest movers, I think, so far in the market. Really, we're just looking for a lot of these same type of situations across the board. Some could take longer, so we're hoping that we can roll these profits into those next trades as they appear.
Right, absolutely. It's just going to say, the idea here is to compound the gains and roll them into other setups. And that's what trading does for you instead of just investing, which is also a good strategy. And I say this on every single stream and recorded video. I've got my trading portfolio that I use to compound gains and roll into new setups, and also my long-term investment portfolio. So you can have both, you can do both, and that's what trading will do for you, is allowing you to roll those gains into other setups, compound those gains, and that's where a lot of the wealth is to be built here. So we're right at the beginning now, right? Where you just said, Trip, that a lot of these setups are at the same point in time, and potentially a lot of them that haven't popped yet. So that's where we are now. It's going to be phenomenal conditions if Bitcoin cooperates.
Yeah, definitely. So total three is a chart we're going to go over in a minute. We're just going to cover a couple of the Bitcoin ideas first, just to see where we're at as far as the broader market health, because Bitcoin is the leader. We want to make sure that it's going to continue, or if we're looking for some kind of a pullback. So we'll start with the Bitcoin chart on the 8-hour. So actually, we've got a fib that we were using before, and this is using the level at the top that was 109,588 and pulled down to the bottom at 74,508. So these extensions, or these fib retracement levels, I should say, within this range, they actually lined up very well with the points of control. So the point of control is a volume-based indicator. It tells you where a resistance or support level is based on how much volume was traded in a given area. So it's really nice to see this confluence between these fib levels at the 0.618. That was where the range high point of control was, all the way over here. And then the 272 at the bottom was that range low point of control. So we were looking for this break and a retest initially, and then we got that move up to the 0.618, and now we're finally breaking above that 0.618 and about to test our next target at about 102,467. This level over here is really what I'm watching, just because of this resistance over here and this resistance back here in December. So if we do see some pullbacks, I expect it to be around this area. Maybe we get a retest of the 0.618, and then I would expect it to continue higher. But there is a bearish scenario too that we're going to go over, just in case Bitcoin fails to break above this new high.
Right. So if we're looking at this uptrend now, what levels must we maintain in the most immediate future to maintain this bullish momentum?
Definitely want to break the highs around 109,000. So we need to break that level. We need to hold that level, and we want to make sure that we don't see a bull trap that follows, because that could totally invalidate the move altogether. So it's a little early to call it. I think Bitcoin has a very important decision to make, but I think it's not quite due yet, and we don't have a confirmation either way quite yet. Really, in the trading group, we're trying to get in down here. We had an entry on this double bottom with some bullish divergence a while back. I guess it was in the beginning of April. So we've had an entry since the bottom of this move. And if you were just raising your stops up each time, you would still be in this trade. So if you're trying to get into the trade now, it definitely would be a little higher risk than trying to catch the bottom of those swings altogether.
Right. So if we were to pull back here, you said around the $96,000 level, what immediate levels would we have to maintain on that pullback in order to continue the bullish momentum?
Oh, definitely that $96,000 level would be the key here. We don't want to see a lower high, and we don't want to start seeing lower lows, because that would invalidate this trend direction. So
Right.
this range high point of control at this 0.618, that's definitely the key level to hold, at least in the short term.
Right. Okay. So that gives people a good indication as to, what to watch for in the near term. And then obviously we got to take it level by level, but things are looking good right now. I mean, things are looking very bullish as we speak.
Yeah, right now it looks fine. So, we're going to roll with it for now. A lot of the altcoins are still making their moves from the bottom. And it really tells me a lot when I look at how the altcoins are still at the bottom of their of these big swings that they've had. They have a lot of upside to go. So I think that Bitcoin could still lead the way, and it would allow these altcoins to continue in their patterns. A lot of them have been oversold on the higher time frames, and are really just looking for a relief rally at the bare minimum. So the next one we're going to look at, this is the Bitcoin 1 month chart. And really this chart is, it's a really interesting chart because it's just focused on the RSI levels. During the previous bull run tops, we always go above 90. So if you look over here on the right side scale, 90 is near the top of the RSI range. This is in overbought territory, but we're talking on the monthly chart now. So every cycle previously, we've gone at least above 90 and held for a little bit before it ended and turned into a longer term correction. Even in the most recent one, we topped out at about, 92, 91. And this was in the April of 2021, March 2021 peak. And now we're only sitting at about 68. I think we topped out back here at around 77 or so. So I think we definitely have another room to go, or another leg up to go, I should say, towards the 90s for this run up.
Right. And these charts are really helpful. And again, zooming out, understanding where we're at and how much fuel could be left in the tank per previous cycles and what we've done, right? When things have gotten really heated. So this actually does help a lot with perspective as to where we could be headed, even if we have some short term consolidation.
Right, definitely. So even though we're not looking for an exact price target, we're really just focusing on what the RSI is doing overall. This kind of helps because you don't overshoot or undershoot with your target expectations. You're really just looking at the strength of the move during that time. So I think right now it's a little too soon. We don't have any divergences popping up. We're not even near those levels that we've seen in the pre-bull run highs yet. So in my opinion, there's really no need for concern quite yet as far as the market rolling over. The next one, we are going to talk about this bearish idea. So in the trading group, we don't really rely on Elliott wave. It's a little complicated. There's a lot to understand, but there's some really basic ideas a lot of people have pointed out. And there's a chance that we are in the top of this Elliott impulse wave. And this is wave 5 that we had at the top in January of 2025. And this first move that we had to the bottom could be the beginning of an ABC correction. So if we do see a lower high on Bitcoin here and we don't break above this previous high at 109,000, that would be a reason to be concerned about a bearish scenario to follow. This B to C could be the biggest correction that we've seen yet during this run-up phase. So this is definitely something we have to be aware of just in case. But the way it looks right now, there could be another really bullish idea that we're going to go over in a second just the same.
Right. So, one of the key thoughts or takeaways here is that if we're going to continue with this uptrend in a sustainable way, we're going to have to break and hold that previous high above 109 for sure. I see about 105 here on this chart, but 109 would be the level to break and hold more or less in order for
Yeah,
this to continue.
Yeah, definitely. So these are based off of mostly candle closes at that 104 level. So if you're aiming for a little higher, that would include beyond these wicks at the top to make an actual all-time high without the candle close for confirmation.
Right.
But the other thing that we have to worry about, or sorry, focus on, is the Bitcoin 3-day chart also has this parabola. So the base 1, 2, and 3 into the 4, which could be coming next, would invalidate this previous bearish idea where we're only expecting 5 waves and then a correction. So there's kind of a big decision coming for Bitcoin where it could be mega bullish still, or it could be the beginning of a bearish downtrend ready to start at any moment.
Right. Wow, there's a lot at stake here. But I like what you did point out about that monthly chart and that this is all about momentum. How much momentum can we gather and will it be enough to, invalidate these bearish ideas? That's basically what we're looking for is a lot of momentum to come back into the market.
Right. So that's the goal in trading, right? Is you want to try to find other ideas that back up other ideas, so they work together in confluence. So the idea here is that by looking at the monthly chart, we can see we still have room to go up into the 90s, and that would add validity to the parabolic curve playing out to get to those overextended levels on the RSI. It doesn't quite equate to the idea that we'd be rolling over for a bearish scenario quite yet, based
Right.
off of the previous cycles. Okay, so the next one we're going to look at, this is one of our altcoin setups that we had planned for the end of the video. So this is Flux on the 3-day. We had a possible bear trap with bullish divergence after it broke below this major support level, which is now turned into resistance. So you had these bullish divergences on the histogram. It was on the MACD and it's on the RSI. And on the RSI too, it's in oversold with bullish divergence in this area. So this is a really bullish signal. We're looking for a reversal of the trend. And to confirm this move, we're looking for that break above this resistance here. If we zoom in, we can actually see there's some structure forming that we can trade. We'll go try the 12-hour chart and see how this looks. So if you zoom in, this would be the same idea as a lot of altcoins, right? So we had these, it put a low in first, it came down to put that lower low, that's where you got the divergence, and now it's put in a higher high than this previous high, and then this low is now higher than this previous low. So this is a reversal idea. You're starting to see the very beginning of an uptrend with this first higher high and this first higher low. So if this continues to the upside, we're looking for a move to about 45 cents, at least to this high for Flux. And then the even bigger structure as we zoom out could test the previous high over here at about 92 cents. So that's a pretty big move. Let's see if we measure what it looks like. We're almost touching, yeah, it's about a 200% move after the break of that resistance for Flux.
Wow. I mean, that's phenomenal, guys. This is a gem that we're giving you for free just for being part of this community. Remember, the link is in the description below. We got 20% off for the crypto making community for Capital Mindset Trading Group. This is just one of those gems, which is phenomenal because you're getting in an excellent entry if we do get that break above resistance. But there are lots of charts that are being shared in the group like this to help get you into those pivotal moments where we're about to see massive moves potentially. So now is the moment. Absolutely. The Flux community is excited about this. I know this because we've been posting it on X. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens here.
Yeah, the Flux community has reached out. They all commented and they were excited about this chart. So we've kind of tapped into a community, and we didn't really know there was much of a Flux community. So it was really pleasant to see for sure.
Yeah.
The last one we're going to look at, this is our Theta setup. So we have this bullish idea on the zoomed out picture. I think this is the 3-day that we had used. So it's a big structure that's going on here. We're down to these major support levels. And the idea before was to scale in on this key support range. So now if we zoom back in, we're looking for that move that we had down to support. Let me just fix the chart a bit. Okay, so you had the same thing as that Flux chart. You had that low first, it put in a lower low, and then it put in a higher high than this high, and now this low is higher than the previous low. So we're looking for this trend to start reversing from here just the same. So now we're looking at a break above this resistance for Theta. Right now it's actually moving and there's volume starting to come in. So if you're a breakout trader, you could buy the breakout of this resistance, and then we're looking for the first target around $1 for Theta, at least in the short term. So this is a 4-hour chart that could take maybe 3 to 4 days, maybe a week to hit that target. And then we're going to see what's going to happen after that.
Yeah, no, phenomenal. I know the Theta community is really excited about this. A long time coming. It feels like the bottom's been forming forever, but now we're finally potentially here, guys. And this is something to get really excited about, coupled with actually all the building that Theta has been doing, all the partnerships, a lot of big announcements coming in AI and collaborations with universities and GPUs usage. I mean, they're doing so much in the background, especially in such a hot sector as AI. So pairing this chart with those fundamentals, it's looking good. It's looking good for now.
Yeah, I agree. So the whole market's starting to get that same reversal idea going on. I think the last one that we skipped over and forgot to cover was the total 3 chart. So let's go back to
Right.
that
Yeah,
really
let's
quick.
go back there. That's absolutely key part of the puzzle here, because that's where we could potentially get that $100 billion injection. So let's go over now how that's possible.
Right. So the total 3 on the 3-day chart. Recently, we were looking for a bounce on this lower trend line that started way back here in October of 2023. And now that we've got this bounce, we're looking for a break above the 200 MA. So this is the 1-day 200 MA here that's acted fairly well as a support and resistance level. Usually when you break below it and then break above it again, this starts the beginning of a rally. So this happened the first time in October of 2023. And then the same thing happened again here. We broke below it for a bit, but then after we were finally able to break above it in November or October of 2024, that's when we saw the next big pump for total 3. So now we're looking for the same idea. If we can break above that 200 MA here, I would expect at least a move to this major resistance. The only idea that I'm thinking about that could be maybe short-term bearish is if we get a rejection at this level and we have to come back down to test this lower trend line again. So that's one idea we need to keep an eye on. Otherwise, we're focusing on the break above this resistance. And then the ascending triangle measured move would be at about 1.98 trillion. So at least a double across the board on average for your mid caps to your large caps.
That's huge. That is absolutely huge. And yeah, I mean, this is a very bullish pattern forming, whether we have to come back down and test the bottom of the pattern again or not. This is very exciting to see after we've been in this kind of like consolidation range for so long now. I know a lot of people have been very bored or worried or both. So it's great to see some bullishness back in the market again.
Yeah, 100%. Right now, so it's the same thing we were talking about with our other setups for Flux and for Theta. Total 3 is doing the same thing. So they're really just copying what Total 3 is doing. So you had that low, then you put in your lower low. And the same thing, we didn't have a higher high here quite, but you can consider both of these being higher lows. So there is some attempt at a trend change going on here at the very least for now.
Right. And we are in the very beginning of that also potentially. So that's a great point to get started in your trading career or just jumping back in the market or at least paying attention. I mean, I can't stress enough how amazing the conditions will be when Bitcoin is cooperating. The altcoins are starting to break out, and as Trip said, we're now around kind of those ranges for a lot of those coins. That is going to be leading to these big explosive moves. So it's an exciting time in the market, indeed.
Right. And the last thing we're just going to cover really quickly is everyone's asking what the target would be for Bitcoin on this move. Really, our best bet right now is just to measure this using a fib extension. So again, we measure from the top to this bottom, and 100% of this range from this high to this low, that would equate to a move to the 2.0 level, and that's about 144,000 for Bitcoin. There are some levels above that we're going to focus on as we go. So 119,000 is the next one after we break the all-time high, and then we're looking for a move to the 1.618 at about 131,000 for Bitcoin.
Wow. Exciting times indeed. Trip, thank you so much for being on today. We are going to follow up with you next week. Next week, we will try to do a live show, actually, so our listeners can tune in, ask questions, send us charts. So we'll give preference to the Capital Mindset Trading Group, but also we want to give a lot of love to the YouTube community as well. So yeah, I mean, we're going to check back in same time next week. We are going to start doing other things as well. Very exciting. I'll keep you all posted. But just for now, thanks so much, Trip, for being on, and it's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to follow up with you again next week.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.